Welcome back to the Pittsburgh Steelers podcast.
Welcome back to the Xanadu, the musical, the podcast.
I'm gonna kill myself.
We're here. There is no certainty that we wouldn't be recording this week, but
There's no certainty, but we're here.
We're
We podcast on. In the words of Lupe Fiasco, to the tune of Floats On by Modest Mouse, the show goes on.
Yeah. As burnout as I am from Xanadu, the musical.
As burned out as I am from my crippling melancholy, the show must go on.
His dear melancholy.
It's my melancholy. It's too much.
Yeah, Taylor Swift news, I guess we'll start with.
Yes, Taylor Swift news. She dropped she released her concert film, Taylor Swift: The Eras Tour, Taylor's version, on to Disney Plus. So if you have Disney Plus,
You're legally allowed to watch it.
you can watch it. It's fun.
We might do a bonus episode doing a reaction to it, so
Oh yes, maybe not a live reaction. That seems like
maybe not a live reaction.
A breakdown, if anything.
Breakdown. I don't know. It's confusing. I don't know what we would talk about, but
Some thoughts. I don't. It feels relevant for the podcast.
it does feel relevant. So maybe 2 to 5 likes bonus episode.
If we get 2 likes, we will do a bonus episode. Now, I'm talking directly to the Art Hive group chat. Y'all better like this shit.
The bar is in hell.
The bar is in hell. They don't even like the videos. It's so pathetic.
I know, right? Fake fans.
Absolutely fake.
So Pittsburgh news.
Lots of Pittsburgh news.
Lots of Pittsburgh news. So a few things. They signed Michael Lee Taylor, an outfielder. Then they signed a known domestic abuser, Domingo Herman. Not good.
Yes, it's very problematic. Especially, it's complicated because he's not good. He's a domestic abuser. He's violent in the clubhouse. But he also threw a perfect game last year, which is like...
I will say, it is a minor league contract, so he might not even appear, but...
There's a chance that they're probably just, just floating his contract so that he can, spend the rest of his career in the minors. On some sort of,
That'd be surreal.
On some sort of, what's the word? It's generosity... contract, they're just...
Yeah.
That's the contract that Bauer wants.
O'Neal Cruz is still loose on El Gaib. O'Neal El Gaib. He'll lead the Pirates to the playoffs. To the World Series.
That might happen, actually. It's not off the table.
Pirates fans would probably mimic how the Fromen do and cause a holy war between them and Philadelphia, but...
Imagine Pirate... Are the Pirates in the National League?
Yeah, they're in the NL.
Imagine if it's so last year it was Texas versus Texas in the ALCS. Imagine this year it's Pennsylvania versus Pennsylvania in the NLCS. Imagine it's both. Imagine it could happen. I mean, anything's possible. Imagine we get both. Imagine we get a rematch of Texas versus Houston on the AL side, and then we get Pirates versus Pennsylvania, or Pirates versus Philadelphia in the NL side.
Yeah, Pirates should take on the entire rest of Pennsylvania.
It's
the
Pittsburgh.
Entire state of Pennsylvania.
It's Pittsburgh versus all y'all. Actually, what's the Pennsylvania version of all y'all?
Probably y'all in rural Pennsylvania, but
rural Pennsylvania. That's fake. I'm talking about in Pittsburgh.
I will tell you. They call it Pennsyltucky for a reason.
That's extremely valid.
But
it's Pittsburgh versus all y'all.
Pittsburgh versus the world.
It's Houston versus all y'all. That's what I'm saying.
And speaking of Pittsburgh, massive drama in the Steelers.
I've seen rumblings of this. Give me the rundown.
So they signed Russell Wilson, quarterback who is on the Broncos, and then the Seahawks prior to that.
Okay.
Just like a seasoned veteran.
Uh-huh.
They already had like a quarterback carousel. So Roethlisberger retired after 2021. Trubisky was the starter in 2022, got unseated by Pickett. Pickett was the starter in 2023. But mind you, Mason Rudolph's been like had starts in those spans. So very much a carousel, rotating carousel. So last year Pickett does fine, I guess. Not very good, but not bad. Gets hurt, Rudolph fills in, wins a few games, takes him to the playoffs, basically.
Okay.
Even though Rudolph's not like spectacular himself. So they signed Russell Wilson. So obviously Pick is no longer the starter. They wasted a first round draft pick on him a few years ago. He didn't work out. Big L.
Big L.
But big L to hold. But then Pickett gets traded to the Eagles. And here's where it gets juicy, because it comes out Pickett wasn't active in like week 16 or something.
Okay.
And people were wondering why. He chose because he didn't want to be the third stringer, which is incredibly petty.
Hmm.
And also, you have to prove yourself. Like, not everything is handed to you.
Yeah.
So and here's where it intersects with the drama with the Bears, because Bears want to get rid of Justin Fields.
Okay.
Because they weren't fucking with each other anymore. So they don't care about him so much that they get a conditional 4th round pick that could also be a 6th round pick from the Steelers in return for him. So now Field is backing up Russell Wilson, and it is incredibly weird.
Interesting.
So that's the drama.
That's some hot football drama right there.
I will say, half the reason Pickett was chosen in the 1st round is because it was an incredibly weak quarterback class that year, and he graduated from University of Pitt. So yeah, but it didn't work out, and he's gone because he wanted to be a little bitch, and now they have 2 quarterbacks that they could reasonably start.
So this is a win for Pittsburgh.
Oh, also massive win. They signed Russell Wilson for literally like the minimum veteran contract.
Okay.
So they literally splurged on both quarterbacks and got rid of toxic locker room drama. And by the way, they also traded Deontay Johnson, who was like pretty known to be a bad locker room presence. So they want them gone.
Pittsburgh
They do not fuck with locker room drama anymore.
The Steelers they're clean and shop. They're
returning to form.
Returning to form. I like it.
The pre-Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown era.
Maybe the Steelers will win a Super Bowl. Who knows?
I mean, they might actually have a better shot at making the playoffs with this team.
Maybe. I think the Texans are going to win a Super Bowl at some point.
They might. I don't doubt it.
With CJ Stroud on the team, I mean, come on, like anything's possible with that guy. He's like 22 years old, and he's like matching like Tom Brady numbers. Crazy.
Tom Brady's retired, mind you.
Tom Brady, I'm not okay. You know what I was talking about. Okay, you know what I'm saying.
Play better than Aaron Rodgers last year. By the way, Aaron Rodgers potential vice president candidate with Robert F. Kennedy.
Aaron Rodgers,
Sandy Hook. Can we break that down?
Andy Rodgers, Sandy Hook conspiracy theorist, circa 2011.
Like, what are we doing here?
It's
You want Aaron Rodgers to be considered as one of your running mates, and you expect to be taken seriously. You are a Kennedy, dude. You're a
listen,
fucking Kennedy.
listen. I mean, Robert Kennedy Jr. I mean, when you see your father and your uncle both get like murked by this, it does something to you.
I feel like that should make me more of a leftist, though, generally.
Maybe. I just I mean I don't think we can I don't think we
Which,
actually can
which
expect
way? Which
how
way,
that
mortal
works.
man? Right wing conspiracy theorists, uh, or alt right conspiracy theorists, or leftists?
No, I think it actually is true. I mean, I can only imagine the horrors that RFK Jr.
Which
has
way,
lived
modern
through.
man?
I mean, come on, like I mean, he's probably living in fear of this at all points. Just like,
Which makes it crazy. He's running for president, mind you.
well, I think I think he figures that he could take it down from the inside.
Okay, JFK said he wanted to dismantle this, and you saw what happened to that motherfucker.
It's true. Maybe we're gonna get killed by the CIA for saying that JFK was killed by this.
Yes, yeah. If you're watching this, you do not know who we are, where we live, or anything.
We're gonna get fact checked under the YouTube video upload.
Can we talk about BetterHelp coming back from the dead?
We can. I feel like BetterHelp, the way I understand it, it's kind of in a constant flux of reputation because, like, you know, they spend a lot of money on like YouTube and podcast advertising,
Yeah,
and then everyone's like, BetterHelp, they're pretty cool, and then like a YouTuber comes out and be like, actually, BetterHelp is bullshit. And it's a scam, and everyone's like, "Yeah, man, BetterHelp's a scam." And then like we just stop thinking about it, and then it comes back.
the main source of my hatred for BetterHelp is the fact that they had a lot of user data leaked, which is just horrible for a therapy app.
Oh, sure, yeah. I mean that makes
Yeah,
sense.
that is a horrible look.
Well, I mean, there's only. I mean, if someone's like hacking into the user data, I mean, I guess they can make the user data a little more secure. But these things happen, in my opinion.
Yeah, I just think it makes them kind of untrustworthy.
Oh well, sure. From like a consumer perspective, I agree.
Also, the FTC is was investigating them for sharing customer data while saying it was private.
Were they really?
Yeah, that's really fucked.
That actually is probably really bad. But
Yeah, so
what do you mean they're back from the dead? Have they been making moves? They're
I've
back up and
seen
running.
too many sponsorships, and every time I've been like, please do not sponsor them. They're not good.
Oh yeah, no, I feel like most of these like sponsorships are like absolute like bullcrap. Like like Squarespace is probably fine.
Yeah, I
All
think
those meal
like
delivery kits are probably fine. Like
yeah, generally.
just
I think
like,
ground news is fine. They're chill, I guess. Every popular video essayist is sponsored by Ground News, I swear to God.
ground news. Yeah, that's like the app that like
Yeah.
is like the news conglomerate.
Yeah, that kind of analyzes
Yep.
the also
You have Honey, which is I
I've
don't know.
seen a lot of Aura sponsorships. And Aura sponsors like a lot of different people.
I don't know what Or is.
I I always forget what it is. I will be so real with you. Have you seen Arab?
No,
The water bottle.
I haven't. I don't know what that is.
Aura is identity protection, which is pretty ironic just
Oh,
considering what
Aura.
started this conversation.
Yes,
But
Aura. Okay, I
get
understand.
Aura. Get Aura after you get better help.
Oh, you have an Aura sponsorship and a BetterHelp sponsorship in the same podcast. It's a
Right.
bundle. They should bundle together BetterHelp and
Yeah.
Aura.
But one of the weirdest ones I've seen is Morgan and Morgan, a law firm, and it's so random.
Morgan and Morgan. I kind of like that.
Morgan and Morgan. I kind of fuck with it, but it's also like, why?
Or when the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation sponsors like a YouTube like educational video. It's like, okay.
I don't think I've seen this.
It's like it might not be on like popular science communication YouTube, like Veritasium or like a Kirk Kazat or CPG Grey or whatever. They're like, we're going to talk about climate change and renewable energy, sponsored by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And it's like, some people are like, actually, Bill and Melinda Gates are oil shills, and Veritasium is evil for taking their money. And I'm like, Veritasium is evil for being in the pocket of oil. And I'm like, this is probably fair.
I can have reservations about the ethics of Bill and Melinda Gates, but it's a charity foundation.
It's a charity foundation. I mean,
No matter what you think of the person, it's a charity foundation.
Like, I don't know, man. Like,
unless they're stealing money from it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, okay, I'm all for radical action for climate change. But Bill and Melinda Gates are not going to be blowing up pipelines. I mean, come on, like, we can be a little realistic here.
Yeah. It directly benefits them to not blow up pipelines, actually.
Yeah, it actually benefits them to not blow up pipelines. Although that should be happening. Arguably. We could do that.
Just for legal reasons, that is a joke.
For legal reasons, that is a joke. And you can...
But, yeah, okay. So, what have we been doing recently? I just got finished. I am 2/3 of the way through performances of Xanadu the musical.
Oh man, Xanadu.
My final production.
Hell yeah! Did you have a performance tonight?
No, tomorrow afternoon.
Okay. Because I cannot.
No, it's 11:00 here.
Yeah, no, but I mean, I cannot do a podcast right after a performance. I mean, I'm just like, I'm done. I'm dead.
It's been like 2.5 hours since we finished or something. So.
Oh wait, did you do a show today?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's brutal. I mean, gosh, the show goes on, I guess, but.
Wolf of Wall Street. Show goes on. I'm not fucking leaving.
The show must go on. Queen.
But, yeah, Xanadu, a very silly musical, but kind of fun. So our theater department is broke as shit.
Yeah.
Let me not lie. But this year we got a little bit of a budget, so we were able to get a backdrop, and we hired 2 guitarists and percussionists for the pit band, and we had some pretty decent props.
Hell yeah. You got the... as long as you got the roller skates, Xanadu's a breeze.
Yeah, but here's the thing. People can easily crash and burn in skates.
People can easily crash from 2004? Best Picture winner?
Disrespect to Cronenberg.
Disrespected Cronenberg. It's so funny whenever someone's like, Crash fucking sucks. Someone's like, oh, why are you disrespecting? Why are you disrespecting the classic Cronenberg about sex in the car?
Like, actually, I was talking about the Best Picture winner.
You're actually talking about the one that actually got more success critically.
Somehow on God's green earth.
Somehow on God's green earth.
But yeah, Xanadu. The thing about Xanadu is it sucks your energy. It's so exhausting.
Oh yeah, because it's like, I mean, it's like, it's like, I'm doing a gesture. It doesn't translate in the podcast, but I'm doing like a forward kind of. It's full steam ahead, is what I'm trying to say.
That's full steam ahead. It's just one musical number. I feel really bad for people who do the double role of Danny and Zeus because it is an insane turnaround time.
Oh, sure.
Literally less. It's like a third of a musical number you have to get ready,
Oh, yeah.
which is absurd. But yeah, it's a good last one. This is the only ever production that we had more people audition than we actually had in the actual production. We had 20 plus people audition, and it was 13 that got in.
Oh, wow. That's pretty. I think
Yeah.
that's
But
like
it does bode well for the future.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, I'll miss it. I never thought I'd be a theater kid, but here we are.
You never thought you'd be a theater kid until it turns out that you're a massive theater kid.
Right. It's crazy how that works.
I mean, I'm not gonna have any pretensions about myself. I went into being a theater kid, wanting to be a theater kid, having been a theater kid for long. I mean, I'm a lifer in this, frankly.
I kind of went in it too for the social aspect, but also just I like performing.
Oh, I love performing. I mean, I'm a vocal performance major. It's what I'm doing.
You're right. But yeah, I came out of my shell a lot during high school.
Yeah.
The theater is a very tight knit community.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
Um,
you spend so much time together, and like acting, it opens up.
you have to like each other, or at least tolerate each other.
Yeah, for sure. Things are gonna go wrong otherwise.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm going to crash after we finish this for tomorrow.
I think you deserve that. Do you have more stories to tell?
No.
Okay. Speaking of musicals.
Oh, wait. I actually did. I fell one time. I fell one time.
You
and
fell?
it was practicing bows.
Oh my god.
Because our auditorium is like slanted. So the seats are like slanted downwards and it's carpet.
Uh-huh.
And the entire time I've been like, I'm not going there. I'm gonna stay on stage during the one part where some people go like around and back onto the stage.
Uh-huh.
I'm considering the option. But also, my other thing was like, I just don't know if I can control like my speed enough for that. So, so I'm like, I'll do it once, right? Just we'll see.
Yeah.
Get like halfway down, and then like my right foot starts to like veer a little bit diagonally, and my weight just comes out from under me. I do the dumbest thing ever and put my hand out. Not a smart move. Never do that. Oh, and so my elbow was sore the rest of the night.
Oh man.
And the next day. So
oh man. You wanna have to get Tommy John surgery.
Was not the worst injury, I will say. There was a crash tonight.
Oh man.
It was during the final number too.
Oh gosh.
Tragedy and so close to the end.
That's brutal. I had
me dropping a line from Xanadu.
No one misses it.
Also, this musical is referential humor is so specific. Like I don't get half of it.
Oh, because it's like 19. You'd have to have been there in 1986 and no later.
Well, say here are the funniest non-intentionally funny parts. Because there are funny intentional parts.
Mm-hmm.
But after Evil Woman, Kira's, the main character, is like, "Oh, Sunny, like the other lead, is coming. I must go," or something. Skates off. He doesn't come on till the next number after a fade out. Which is so funny. Oh wait, no, it's before Evil Woman. Because it's that entire number, and then like the little thing then fade out into suddenly, and then he is back on. But Don't Walk Away. She's skating, so she's not walking. And third, probably the most egregious, they reference Clash the Titans 1981. Mind you, this musical is set in 1980. This is Saltburn levels of inconsistency.
That's funny as hell.
I know, right? Like, it's such a funny reference, but it makes you think they couldn't have just moved it up a year.
It's true. I looked it up, and apparently the stage show was from 2007.
No, it was 2000s. So this was not during the 80s.
I know. The
movie was 1980.
Yeah. The movie is 1980, but the Broadway production came out in 2007, which is baffling to me that anybody would adapt Xanadu for the stage in 2007.
It's so funny because
why would you do this?
They call it the inferior cinematic offering in the musical too. They do not like the movie either. Like, nobody fucks with Xanadu the movie.
Nobody does.
It's like so knowingly self-indulgent and like self-deprecating.
I mean, yeah.
It's like a musical that like relishes and hates its own existence at the same time.
It's true. I mean, we don't need to talk about how low it sits on my every musical ever ranked list. But
that's fun.
It's fun.
No, it's harmless.
It's harmless. It's not evil, I suppose. Not evil in the same way that like Annie Get Your Gun is evil. Like that's an evil show.
I don't know what that is.
It's I mean, you can look it up if you want. It's a classic musical with some of the best tunes.
Is that Aerosmith?
Annie Get Your Gun? No.
There's a different rock bands.
It's not a rock band musical. It's old.
Oh.
Annie Get Your Gun.
No, I was thinking about REM. Sorry, I was thinking about an REM lyric.
No, it's like
there's no way they made an REM jukebox musical.
No, they it's not a jukebox musical. It's a normal musical. But it's a classic show with tons of classic tunes. It was the one that Anything You Can Do, I Can Do Better comes from.
It won a Tony Award for Best Revival.
Yes. Mind you, this show is literally one of the most like misogynistic and like racist shows I think there ever is.
Yeah.
But the music is actually so good. They say falling in love is wonderful. That comes from Annie Get Your Gun.
You've never known irony until a Catholic private school performs Aladdin.
That's good. That's really good.
I know. Okay. So, guys, Dan Twitter is not that serious. You do not need to be showing up at people's houses.
Oh my god. That was crazy. I mean, it's not, yeah.
People need to learn that even if somebody posts their house, it is not an open invitation to go to their house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's really not.
That's crazy. They have every right to call the cops on your ass.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know what we're talking about, you don't need to.
Yeah, we don't need to get into it.
Just know it's over Nicki Minaj, and that's how embarrassing it is.
I honestly believe it. I mean, I feel like if any of the stands are that bad, it's the Nicki stands.
Genuinely, it is. Apart from Kanye stands, but
Kanye stands are also bad. Did you see that?
Kanye stands only cyberbully you. Nicki stands will actually show up at your house.
Well, no. Did you see what happened at that Kanye event?
Yeah,
to
Rolling
that
Loud.
the trans woman. She got like jumped in the middle
Yeah,
of the
she was in a
crowd.
fight. Yeah,
That was brutal, man.
that shit fucking sucks.
It
You
sucks.
know what also
Right.
fucking sucks? How the fuck are you gonna perform somewhere and you don't even perform?
Yeah,
What
I
are
mean,
you even doing?
yeah. So Kanye and his caravan, they went up on stage and they played the studio versions of the new album without any microphones. Um,
Honestly, you get what you pay for.
you get what you pay for. It's obviously it's a sham, but I kind of had some tweets about this that I'll repeat now. That like rap artists specifically have been like pushing the expectations of what a quote live performance is like, so, like the expectations of what a live performance is for a while now, and it occurs to me that Kanye is really just dropping the artifice that like have been in place, because I mean, what, like there's only like the like not having the microphones in their hands is only one step like removed from any other rap concert in which they're playing like the fully mixed studio versions at you while dicking around on stage, right? Like these are actually very similar setups.
And there you on about a Travis Scott concert, but at least the band's actually performing.
Yeah, I think Travis Scott probably has his standard for performance is probably a little higher than others.
I mean, he uses live auto tune, so I have to imagine he actually intends to perform.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Travis Scott.
It's just so low for Kanye to sing.
Yeah.
It's just when you think he can't go lower, he goes lower.
Well, I mean, he was doing this kind of setup back in 2021 in like the Donda kind of thing.
I guess but it's more of a listening event, right? So it wasn't you were understanding that it was to hear the album, not to hear him perform like all his greatest hits.
It's true. But I think that those were such large scale productions though that I don't even think it would have been out of line to have a live performance aspect. And so, in my opinion, I think this is just him doing what he did in Donda, and being like, well, it was hype when I did it at the Donda era, and now I'm just doing it again. I mean, I don't see any problem with that.
I guess another one of the differences he'd perform some of the songs from Donda, but also like it was like a you don't know what you're gonna hear. You may not have ever heard the song before, I guess.
Oh, it's true. That
But,
is
like
a
if you're going to a Kanye West event like after Vultures, you know he's playing Vultures.
that's
If
fair.
he's like specifically with like Ty Dolla $ign.
That's a good point. That is a good point. I agree.
Speaking of musicals, uh, who I'm trying to go to the musical satire of the Willy Wonka Glasgow experience.
Oh god.
This is such like a musical. This is such a theater thing to do.
Yeah, I mean if you pay attention to what's happening off Broadway and in other like pockets of like Starkid or Chicago or whatever, I mean the pop-up times for these like parody musicals is like so insanely fast. Like it's like something happens and then like there's like a parody musical that's come out.
Because somebody in the group chat the other day um, was like, it had to have been pre-planned. It was like, no, that's just theater.
Yeah, it's just that's how. I mean, that's like kind of the game, though. I think there's like film people attached to this from like I don't know if this is like a stage thing or like a film thing.
Better not be the Greatest Showman, guys.
No, it's they got the people behind the they got the songwriter behind the the Ratatouille TikTok musical.
Dear God. That does not inspire a lot of confidence.
They have Ricky Lindholm from Garfunkel and Oates. She worked, I think. They got Tova Lindven and Doug Rockwell from High School Musical, the musical, the series, and Julie and the Phantoms. They got TikTok songwriter Daniel Mertzluft from Ratatouille, the musical, and Grumpy Monkey, the musical, and Broadway songwriters Alan Zachary and Michael Weiner from First Date, ABC's Once Upon a Time, and Richard Kraft from The Little Mermaid Live is producing. So they actually kind of have a kind of a large creative team here.
Yeah.
I feel like that usually doesn't bode well for musicals, in my opinion. I think usually a smaller number of collaborators, creatively speaking, have produced
too many cooks in the kitchen just fries it.
It's really true, especially for musicals.
He won a lot of cooks in the kitchen in terms of the cast, but that's like post the script actually being written.
In terms of the cast, in terms of the script and the music, I think music should be handled by like 2 to 3 people, maybe
1 to 2 dudes. Yeah, 1 to 3 dudes.
Yeah, I feel like you can kind of get away with like, one guy can write the music. And
you can get away with like a Sondheim and Bernstein combo.
You can get away with that, or Roger and Hammerstein.
Those are very generational talents.
Oh, sure. But Stephen Sondheim, he wrote the music and the lyrics for most of his career, and it was pretty good.
You're right. So big legends.
Big legend. Rest in peace, Stephen Sondheim.
Rest in peace, dude.
Okay, so speaking of musicals, we were having a conversation yesterday, a short conversation, where you were like, if I ever made it in the film industry, I'm gonna make a movie musical, even if it sends me to director jail. And I was
did say that.
And I was like, for what it's worth, La La Land didn't send Damien Chazelle to director jail. And you were like, all respect to La La Land, it's more of a movie than a musical. And
there's like a musical movie and like a movie musical.
I think I don't know if I would put it like that. I think there is sort of like a difference between like a movie musical that's conceptualized as a film that's using the language of film that has like musical numbers in it versus a movie musical that's sold as an adaptation of a stage play, a stage show. But interesting though, I actually think that these lines aren't actually really even determined by whether or not it's actually a adaptation.
Yeah, me neither.
Like West Side Story, Stephen Sondheim's, in my opinion, that is much more of a, like, it's working as a film than it is adapting a stage show. In my opinion.
I think it's like a very good balance in both adaptations. Like, it has a theatrical angle, but it never has it as a musical. They're full musical numbers.
Oh, that's true. But I think you can have full musical numbers, but I think there's definitely a distinct feeling of Steven Spielberg is making like a film. You know what I'm saying? Like a beefy film.
Oh, yeah.
That's all filmy. Versus like In the Heights, I want to say, doesn't really partake in the same cinematic language as West Side Story.
We should just go through some films and just kind of say more movie or musical.
Okay.
Tick, Tick, Boom.
Oh, I think it's more of a movie. I think
I'm inclined to say musical because there is some very obvious set pieces that are very musical-ish.
I think it's more of a movie because the original Tick, Tick, Boom stage show is like a 3-person show in which you have you have like Johnny, and you have like the girl who plays both the actress and the girlfriend, and then you have the friend character who also plays like other male roles. And in my opinion, the way they adapt that to the screen, they split those roles and they like fill out the show with like a lot of scenes and stuff. I think it's really kind of like this filmy thing, in my opinion, rather than like
I mean, I guess, but I also see the aspect of you literally could not adapt it the way it is performed on stage. Like, it'd be impossible.
I mean, it wouldn't be impossible. It would just be super weird and not commercial. It would be off-putting.
It'd be hard to get across what it's trying to say in that sense.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm looking at this Grease poster, and it has horrible, like, it's giving graphic design is my passion. I can literally see where like they failed to completely cut around Olivia Newton-John's curly hair.
Yeah. I just think that Tick Tick Boom, I think the original musical is more abstract than the movie. I think the movie in a number of great ways. I'm not saying it's bad. I think it works really well. But I think it definitely it biopics up the musical up a little bit, in my opinion. That I think it's kind of a movie first, in my opinion.
I guess. This is much making. See, part of my analysis is if you took the music out of it, would it still be pretty much the same film?
Interesting. I mean, no, but I mean, I think anything that's reasonably considered a musical at all, that's not true. Like, I think La La Land would be different if you took the music out.
I think it'd be different, but I think it'd be mostly the same. Generally, like nothing hinges on it being a musical apart from the opening number.
That's fair. Maybe it's just not a very good musical. I've heard arguments.
We love La La Land.
No. Okay, I'm not saying I don't like La La Land. I love La La Land, but you get what I mean. Like, there is
yeah.
The way in which it functions as a musical.
It's much more focused on being a movie.
Yeah, that's true. But I think La La Land. Hairspray. Oh, Hairspray is like that's like one of the textbook definitions of like a stage adaptation for film, in my opinion.
I was gonna say it's very much musical.
Yeah.
I feel like Chicago's very obviously musical. Like it's even staged like a musical in a movie.
Yeah. Chicago is weird because they do things to ground the film that I think make it even more like a stage adaptation. Like they place like the decision to place all the musical numbers in Roxy's head kind of makes it even feel more like you're bringing the stage show into a movie.
Yeah. Sound and music.
Oh, I think it's tough to say. I mean, I think it's
kind of balanced.
It's kind of balanced. I think any of those judging I think like back in the day, in that era of movie musicals, there wasn't a rift of like
there is no clear line in the sand.
Yeah, because those just were like the big movies that came out that everyone saw and like were super popular. Yeah. Right, like those were the blockbusters.
People talked to the movies.
So like it's a faithful adaptation of the show, but like they're still bringing like the expectation of this is a big popular movie to it. So versus nowadays when you make a movie musical, you're kind of asking yourself what are the artistic expectations of this? And I don't think that was much of a problem back in the day.
I think Gene Wilder, Willy Wonka is more of a movie. Although
I agree.
I will say it is very inspired to have music in that.
Oh, it totally
Very
worked.
much respect it.
Yeah. No, definitely a movie.
Greece.
Oh,
I feel like Greece is kind of a balance
Grease is
because at some
balanced.
points I feel like it definitely is a movie, but I also feel like it very specifically has like set pieces that are very clearly stage adaptation.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that it's weird because they add a bunch of music to Grease in the movie that wasn't in the
Yeah,
original stage show. Um, yeah, it's tough to say on that one.
I'm gonna say Wizard of Oz definitely more of a movie, but
Definitely more of a movie. Well, I mean,
respect it for being musical.
I think I might be wrong on this, but I think the stage version actually came after the movie.
Uh, that's a good question, but I think I'm also just judging like movies that are musicals that are not specifically stage adaptations, like La La Land, obviously.
Yeah, Wizard of Oz. It wasn't a. It wasn't adapted for the stage. It was brought to the stage in 1942 after the movie in 1939. That's
That's
important to me.
interesting because it didn't gain like immediate popularity after it came out. So the fact that it got a stage adaptation that soon is
It's
kind
weird.
of crazy.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense to me though because Wizard of Oz is actually it's somewhat similar to La La Land. There's like not that many songs in it, I think. Right? Like there's the
Yeah,
big one at the beginning and then there's like the all the songs they sing like meeting the people and then whatever. But like it's kind of similar to a Disney like a Renaissance movie the way they use the songs. Like they
I can
kind of
understand.
like they drop the songs by the climax.
Yeah, and there are definitely climactic moments,
Yeah.
like very important moments.
Yeah, so it's
Um,
definitely a movie first.
I'm gonna say Little Shop of Horrors and Rocky Horror 100% musical over movie.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah,
like there are scenes
sure.
in between, but they're kind of vehicles to move it through the plot,
Yeah, I would agree. Although
which
I
is why I
think,
kind of fuck with them, low key.
I mean, I haven't seen the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I love Little Shop of
Oh
Horrors,
my
but
god, Rocky Horror is so good.
I've heard. I mean,
Rocky
I
Horror is
think,
actually even more so of just like a like so much of it is just wacky musical shit.
yeah, I think. One interesting note is that the Rocky Horror Picture Show was so influential to Rocky Horror's legacy. Is that many people forget that the musical actually is not called Rocky Horror Picture Show.
I'm gonna be so honest. I didn't
Yeah, it's
know that
it's
there was a musical before.
oh yeah, it's the Rocky Horror Show, and then when they adapted it, they called it the Rocky Horror Picture Show because it's a
That
movie.
actually that makes sense and is kind of galaxy brains,
Oh,
but
it's actually really clever, but it's just kind of frustrating when people say they're putting on a production of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's like you're probably not.
you're not.
You're just not. That's a movie.
You're not him.
You're not. You're not that guy.
A Greatest Showman musical over movie. We don't need to
No,
talk about Greatest Showman more.
I think it's a movie first because it sucks, and I think it sucks because it's a bad
I
musical.
don't think that's the baseline. I think it's a musical, but I think it, it's indulgent in all of the worst tropes.
I think the problem with this conversation is that you and I have a very different idea of the definition of these.
Perception.
We have a very different perception of what these terms mean.
I mean, we've agreed on a lot of them, so.
No, it's fair.
Mary Poppins.
It's a
How
movie.
do we feel about Mary Poppins?
I like Mary Poppins.
See, like I feel like it's kind of a balance
It's a
because like
it's a
there's some very like very musical like kind of musical brain choices in the
for
movie.
for me it's a movie because I think well it was conceptualized as a film first, and lots of the lots of the movie is a vehicle for a lot of the cinematic effects that Disney
Yeah, I
was
guess.
pioneering at the time. Like the
Kind of like a very big Technicolor musical, like a very big representation
yeah,
of that era.
yeah. I think Mary Poppins it's kind of a good example of the ways in which musical and movies in cinema are can actually be really compatible because
Yeah,
the songs give excuse for the effects to happen.
yeah, I think that's very good too. I just feel like it kind of is balanced in that sense. I
Yeah.
will say the like Mary Poppins Returns, Emily Blunt one, definitely more of a movie.
Oh, definitely more of a movie. I like it though. I like that movie.
But also it's just worse than the originals.
It's worse, but like I mean, I wouldn't
It's
say
not bad, but it's just not as good.
I I wouldn't say it's worse for any like deep like existential reasons like these other sequels or remakes or whatever.
It just doesn't have the juice.
I mean, it has some juice. It just doesn't have as much juice.
It's fair. I will say Blues Brothers, more of a movie, but I fuck with Blues Brothers heavy.
I haven't seen it.
I saw Blues Brothers for the first time last year in a packed theater, and it was like a religious experience.
I didn't know it was
That
a
is the
musical.
correct the that is the correct environment to see it in.
Yeah.
Every Disney movie ever,
More of a
that's
movie.
every animated Disney movie.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because they
Songs are
do
good. It's
the
still a
songs.
movie.
The songs are great, but they're mostly focused on like the visual aspect of the storytelling a lot of the times, and they do weird stuff with the structure sometimes. Like in Mulan, like the whole structure of Mulan is that there's like it's a musical until like the war becomes real, and then they drop all the songs until the end. It's like
Yeah, I but
it's
that's
sick as
also
hell.
why it fucks.
Oh yeah, for
Um,
sure.
I will say every biopic is more of a movie, and that's part of what sucks about biopics.
Yeah, I think yeah.
Because biopics are just like the only one that seems to kind of get it right is, well, Elvis does, but not in the way I mean. But Rocket Man like indulges in like the unrealistic musical
Mhm.
kind of aspects
Yeah,
a little bit.
yeah.
And
I mean,
like it feels like they're just too indulged. They're too interested in trying to find something that's not there.
well, what's weird is that I Jersey Boys. Are you familiar with Jersey Boys? The Frankie Valli
I
jukebox
don't think
musical.
so.
It's weird because it kind of like it's like a biopic on stage. It uses them. It's kind of the template for a lot of these like biopic musicals that they make about like almost everyone. But it's weird because it's not like a musical in the traditional sense. Like they almost never stop singing. It's like they sing the soundtrack almost. It's super cool in my opinion, but I'd argue even Jersey Boys is like less of a musical, even though it's actually a musical. It's super weird. Apparently, the movie of it is super bad. I haven't
I,
seen it.
I'm looking it up, and apparently it won Tony, Grammy, and Olivier awards.
Well, it's really good. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's just like it does some cool, weird stuff with the structure of the that.
Oh my God, the Jersey Boys adaptation was R-rated by Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, apparently he kind of tried to like make a Martin Scorsese movie out of it.
And
Uh,
apparently Frankie Valli did not like it.
yeah, that probably speaks to its quality.
That's crazy. And it's over 2 hours, 2 hours and 14 minutes.
Yeah, there's no shot.
Lynn, what are you doing, dude?
Clint Clint needs to be stopped.
I will say, there are only specific musicals you can get, and that you can get musical fans to stick around for that long. But it has to be good.
I mean, I think that's fair. I like a good long musical in my opinion. Like some good stuff.
I think the sweet spot's like an hour and a half to 2 hours. If you're going over that, you need to have something more to say, or at least keep up an energy.
Like Les Mis.
Les Mis. That I was thinking about that, but
Speaking of Les Mis, the movie, definitely more of a movie. Uh, that movie as a musical kind of sucks. Like the music is just kind of bad.
that's too funny.
Uh,
So Les Mis is so interesting to me because it was like this long as hell book adapted into a long as hell musical, adapted into a long as hell movie.
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that happens. I got the book right now. I got the book right next to me, actually.
Big admission, I've never seen it
You've never seen the movie?
or read it.
You can kind of skip it. You should see the stage show if you get the chance to.
Yeah, I might someday.
Long as
Jesus, it's so thick.
hell. This is the only complete and unabridged paperback edition.
One thing about theater kids, they can do their own hair and makeup.
I can't. I'm so bad.
I was
I got
not guys, but
the complete works
guys
of
need a little bit
William
of help.
Shakespeare.
But I have a full Jane Austen book and a full Gothic horror book.
Oh, look at me. Look at me. Infinite Jest. I'm never reading this one. I'm gonna read it one day.
Oh my god.
The masterpiece. East of Eden. Okay. Podcast listeners, I just showed Jenna some of the books on my shelf.
Audio listeners.
The actual listeners.
Yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, I think we should end it.
I agree.
I don't care to go much longer. I need rest.
I'm there with you. Where can they find you, Jenna?
They can find me at Fiona Appletree with 1A on Twitter. And you can't find me on Instagram because I will not disclose that. Where can I find you, Lucas?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram, both on @Lucas_copy_1.
All right, if you stuck around long enough, please comment. We are in Xanadu.
We are in Xanadu. If you stick around, give me a fat kiss on the mouth because I love you for listening to the podcast.
If you stuck around, type O'Neill out Gaib in the comment section.
Yeah, and if you don't, we'll know you're a fake. Also, click the link to help Palestine and a click.
Yeah, click. Also, click like. Maybe even subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Please. Please and thank you.
Please and thank you.
This is the Swifters. We're signing off and have a good whatever.
Indeed.